it seems like for you, like you do enjoy doing the competitions, but it doesn't seem like it's like a life goal.
It's not. I thought it was gonna be for me. So, branching back to my friend who had the heart attack, he thought he was eating good.
Yes.
He had the heart attack. It really concerned me. This was a really good friend of mine, and so I was concerned for him. He reached out to me and asked me to start making his food because he's really busy, and his doctor said, you need to change your food now. You now have a heart condition because of this. So he has a heart condition for the rest of his life because of all the food and the lifestyle he had, and he's going to have to take medication for the rest of his life. Sometimes he has high blood pressure. Sometimes he has many heart attacks now, and this is like a lifelong issue he's going to have. And it all branched from the lifestyle you live, the food you eat, the lack of water, the lack of sleep. So when he came to me, I started making his food. I didn't know what I was really doing. I'm using styrofoam containers. I didn't have nice meal prep containers. I'm just making stuff because they asked me. Yeah, it was a mess. If I look at my pictures from when I first started, it's so mediocre compared to what I present now to my clients. So when people are like, is this clean? Is this healthy? I get it because it doesn't look like normal meal prep. It looks like you're not supposed to be eating this.
Right.
And that's what I want. I want it to be so clean but so beautiful. I want it to be presented like a restaurant dish.
Yes.
And that comes from my restaurant style background. So I started with him. I branched off. His fiance wanted me to start making stuff for him. I was making stuff for them. One of my other buddies who works out, he found out I was cheaper than somebody he was using, and he liked my food better because I got hired for like one of my buddies' Memorial Day cookout, and I cooked out all this food, but I made it like on the cleaner side.
Yeah.
I think the dirtiest thing on there that I made was for the day was mac and cheese and lasagna.
Right.
But other than that, like I did grilled fish, I did a bunch of veggies, grilled veggies, like I did salad, I did fruit bowls, like I did all this like clean prep stuff, and just trying to clean it up, even just on some picnic barbecue style stuff.
Cause to be honest, I mean, I hate to sound like this, but look, we black, we know how we grew up. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be 100% clean with us, but if you can clean it up, though.
Oh, I can clean some mac up.
Okay.
I don't use milk, and I don't use egg. I use evaporated milk, and then I don't use any egg in mine at all. It's just like the milk and the butter is the worst part about my mac.
Right.
Like, which is unusual because when I told my grandmother I don't use egg in the mac, what? Yeah. I said, yeah, it's not dry either. What?
Right.
The egg's supposed to keep it moist.
Right.
So exactly. She's like, no. I'm like, yeah, I can make some clean mac. Yeah. It's going to be cleaner than what you got. So, even just stuff like that. So it started with just a referral of my friends. Everybody being referred to me, and then it kind of grew from there, and eventually after like 2 months, 3 months, I realized I couldn't juggle 2 bartending, serving jobs and do this, and I was scared to let go of my jobs to do it, and the person who I started it for is the reason why I quit my jobs, because he told me that I can always go back to bartending and serving if it didn't work out. And he was right. And that was the push that I needed to really hop off and be like, okay, I'm going to really go hard for the meal prep. So I started advertising. I started like providing it for more people. But my profit margins were off. It was a mess. Operations were disorganized. And I was almost broke 4 months into it. I was broke, actually. I had $27 to my name. I was broke because I wasn't taking in any income. And it's like I wasn't making any profits. So then somebody told me to raise my prices. Another friend of mine who was ordering off me was like, you need to raise your prices. Like, these are too cheap. Like, way too cheap. Like, you're killing yourself. No wonder you're not making no money. So I did that. And then also in August, I met a URA officer for the Urban Redevelopment Association of Pittsburgh. And they help build businesses in Pittsburgh and help them flourish. But you have to pitch your business to them. It's almost like a Shark Tank thing. Yeah. It's like you have to create a business outline. You have to have all your books. You have to have everything in line. And they have this program, and it's a micro entrepreneurship program, and it's excellent. You get up to a $30,000 loan with like 2% interest, which is only like, for the $20,000 I borrowed, it was like $700 interest. And they only charge you interest only for like, you get a 6-month period where there's no payments. Then I think it's like the next 6 months is interest only or something like that. So those are really great opportunities for people trying to start businesses. But this woman reached out to me trying to be a client. And then when she reviewed my just everything, she was like, conflict of interest, I want you to do this instead. Wow. So that was like a great blessing. I met her when I was bartending, once again, being behind the bar, and she was at my bar. So she pointed me in the direction for the program. She was one of the officers that makes the decisions. She doesn't live in Pittsburgh, but she agreed there's a huge disparity here for Black communities and especially Black business owners. Yeah. And she said, coming from Baltimore, she never seen such a disparity, which is shocking because we know Baltimore is very disparable, for our community. And so I ended up getting the loan. Long story short, obviously COVID hit. It didn't affect my business the way I thought it was. Like at first, everything ceased, everything stopped. People didn't know how they were going to get paid. But as the PUA money came in, so did my sales. People started to realize because of COVID that health was so important and that everybody wanted to clean up their diets all of a sudden and eat so healthy. And it made me skyrocket in sales. It made me so popular over the past year. And I'm grateful that I was not one of the businesses that was negatively affected by the pandemic. Yeah. And it positively impacted me because all last year nobody could go anywhere. Nobody was going on vacation. I didn't have to compete with money-wise with you spending money on vacation or saving for vacation and pulling back off meals. I didn't have to worry about, you're in good enough shape so you're going to stop for the summer. Like, no, everybody was in the house getting fat last year off Grubhub. So it was great for me. I'm like, yeah, I was loving it. I'm like, please stay home. Don't go anywhere. And
now that you've
unfortunately,
been able,
I don't mean to say it like that, but don't go anywhere. Stay at home and get fat because it's making me rich.
I know what you mean. I mean, the morticians or the undertakers, they gotta make money too. So
I'm just saying, they hope people keep dying. I hope people keep gaining weight sometimes, or I hope that you keep losing yourself in your journey so you can find people like me to help you get back on track or show you a new, easier way to approach this.
Well, what I'm just to interject, what I'm learning is that it was a perfect storm last year with you being able to really advance your business and expand your profit margins while your quote unquote competitors were reeling and they were trying to like pick up the pieces. Like some of them they couldn't even open, but now you fast forward a year later and now that you're more established in that way, now when stuff is opening back up and the competitors are there and stuff, you're clearly an established iEatCleanMealPrep, so you know that I'm just making up something. You know Olive Garden or you know TGI Fridays. You know what they bring to the table, but you know what you bring to the table, and you don't have to worry about anybody because you've already established that you know how to make it profitable.
And I used to worry about my competitors, or not even competitors, because it no slight to some of the catering chefs that do meal prep, but they don't know how to make it clean. They think it's clean. I'm looking at your salmon; it's greasy. I'm sorry. Why does it look so greasy? My salmon don't look like that. Like, I'm not comparing food, but when I'm talking about when I'm looking at a dish and I'm looking at the cleanliness of it, it's not clean. You think just because you put some food in a bowl that it's meal prep. That's not true. True. That's why I eat clean meal prep. Yes. It's clean meal prep. Keyword clean. People don't understand what that word means. So when they're comparing me to my competitors and so makes me salmon and rice and veggies for $10, that's great. First of all, I know she's only giving you 4 ounces of salmon, so she's giving you this tiny little piece. I'm giving you at least 5.5 ounces, which is more than the protein you technically would need per meal for a normal adult. So I try to, like, if somebody's not real specific with what they need, I try to make sure I supplement at least the bare minimum of what an actual adult who does normal day-to-day activities would need. Yeah. So you're still going to be, even if you ate 3 meals for me a day, you would still have room for breakfast and probably a few snacks. That's how much food you're allowed to have technically when you're actually eating clean. Now, if you're ordering from so-and-so catering and they're like, yeah, this is clean meal prep, but each dish is 700 calories, that's different than my dishes that are 450, 500. Yeah. That's a big difference in calories when we're talking about at the end of the day. You got an extra 700 calories because you're eating with them, but it's clean. Yeah. It's not. So I used to be really concerned when I would see myself growing and then people would kind of like try to copy what I would do. Like I would have catering chefs that would follow me, like random people that would follow me, and then I'd find out what they do, and then all of a sudden I see in their bio that I do catering, I do cookouts, I do picnics, and then I do meal prep, and I'm just like, this doesn't even make sense. Like, what is your real specialty here? Because if it's going to be catering, it's going to be catering. If you're going to cater to health, though, you need to cater to health. Right. You're just trying to be greedy and just trying to throw it all in the pot and call it what it isn't.
Because we know how this social media thing works. Like, all you really had to do is just list it.
Like, that's all they do.
All you gotta do is really
That's all they do. They just list it, and then I
yeah.
hop on there, and I'm like, this is not meal prep. And I'm just like, you know what? Just focus on what I'm producing. Focus on the fact that I know what I'm doing, and that my clients get real results. And I have testimonies. I have text messages. I get emails. I can post them all day, my reviews.
Right.
I even have a tab on my Instagram for client reviews of actual texts that I get from people that lose weight, people that just feel great, people that have done my program for a while. I even have couples that I have a couple that specifically started eating with me at the beginning of COVID, and all the way up until I closed, they were eating from me every week. They don't even cook anymore.
So the way I found out about you, and I'm segueing from what you just told me, the way I found out about you actually was because I still got to work on getting this interview out, but I interviewed Ma Ray. And she was telling me about...
She didn't tell me that. That's funny.
Well, you know, it's all good.
It's my best friend.
Yeah. Well, it's right. That's why I got to go ahead and get the... I probably got to just put the interview out, and then that'll remind her. She'll be like, oh, yeah. Because,
she probably thought she did... Well, she's been so busy, she forgot she even did it.
Yeah, she's been mad busy with the real estate.
She's one of my meal prep clients, actually.
Right. And that's how... Because she kept saying... Because when we did our interview... Because she's a healthy lifestyle enthusiast.
Yeah, she is.
Like so she's one of them, and you know, her whole workout crew and everything with Doug and Shoni and all the people. And she was telling me about like, she said that she knows how to cook, but that she needs some pointers. So she said whenever I have a question about what I need to eat, she didn't say Monique Walker. She just said, I just hit up Mo. Like, Mo, who the hell is Mo? Like,
be specific.
and that's why I can see why that name would be frustrating if you're like at a ballpark or some kind of public event. Be like, hey yo, Mo, and it just could be like Maurice or whoever.
Yeah.
But anyway, she just kept talking about Mo and like Mo, and I listened to the one she did with Rel Mac, and I think she was talking about somebody named Mo. Mo could have been a dude, and then
Mo could be anybody.
Mo could be anybody. And it was just like, and then she got here. She's like, Mo just if I have any questions, Mo just be. I was like, who the hell is Mo? And then I start.
And you were like, side question.
Yeah.
Who is Mo?
Yeah, who is Mo? Like, who is this a real person? Are you doing an imaginary friend thing again? Like, but no, she put me on, and after looking at your page, and I think what I like most is that even if you weren't a bodybuilder, it would still you would still have great selling points about your business. But I feel like the connection, like that link between I'm selling this to you, but I'm a living, breathing testament.
Product, I'm a byproduct of it, because it's like I can sit here and say, you're not healthy, you don't do what you're supposed to do, and shame on all you guys, but it's like that would make me a hypocrite, because I used to have the exact same lifestyle that I'm trying to avoid people from having.
Because without maybe this part might not make it to the final part, but let's just say that sometimes we might have been to church before and you might have seen some jiggly arms, and and it was just like, it's like, sure, have some more, okay, cool, and you just you just eat the stuff just because it's like, all right, they making it, but anyway,
they loading them plates. We live in a society where our plates are overloaded, and even with me traveling to other countries, I realize that we eat in excess more than we need, and I already know that from the portions I get when I do order food. So like sometimes you order food and it's like, all right, that was barely enough. So like for instance, when we go to Panera Bread, like their portions are small. Yeah. If you want a sandwich, you're not just gonna get a half sandwich because you're gonna be starving after that. Right. The portions are smaller. Right. Do I need the whole sandwich? Yes. Do I need the whole sandwich plus the bag of chips, plus the drink, plus the chocolate chip cookie they want to add on for 99 cents? Do I need all these things? No. I would have been sufficient with just the sandwich. So while I ordered a whole, I just went to Panera earlier. While I ordered a whole sandwich, I ordered the smoothie, and I did order the cookie. I ended up ordering a side of like mac and cheese too. So it was like I didn't even eat it, or a broccoli soup. I didn't even eat the soup. It's just like conditioned to come like that we need all this food. And even though I know for a fact, because I know me, I'm not going to eat all that, I'm still going to order it. Right. And then guess what? I'm going to probably end up eating it at a separate time, because for me, I'm going to get to a point where I'm eating my meal and I'm going to be like, that's enough. I'm full. I'm about to be uncomfortable. Or I'm satisfied. And people don't stop it. I'm satisfied. They stop it. I'm stuffed.
And the worst thing is that it's almost like, I think so. I'll try not to project too much, because I know that we all come from different areas of the Black experience. But I would say what I feel comfortable in saying that we might have a common link with is, I think growing up in a lot of Black homes, there's this feeling of, I think my grandparents were connected with the Great Depression and going through that. It's the reason why they save so many plastic bags. It's the reason why they got so many canned goods and all this excess stuff. It's the reason why they have so many blankets and all this bedding and stuff, because they're just used to people coming over and having to consolidate. And I think from that, what we start to internalize is this thing about, okay, yo, it's people over there starving that ain't got this. Yo, you better eat that. Like we talk about chicken wings.
Yeah, we don't dump food. Like, I hate wasting food. Like, I legit do not waste food. Like, I try not to. Like, even when I had dogs, like, my trimmings and stuff from, like, my raw meats from meal prep, I would save them and give them to the dogs. Yeah. Why am I going to throw this out? Like, you know what I mean? And it's okay for dogs to have raw food, you know what I mean, as long as they're acclimated to that diet-wise. But even just recycling your discards from the food you're cooking is important too. So, like, even when I'm sitting here and I'm steaming veggies, I read that if you save your steamed veggie water, the nutrients that are steamed out of the veggies are in the water, and if you pour them into your garden, obviously not hot, but cool it down and pour it in your garden, it gives your garden extra vitamins and nutrients that it normally wouldn't get. Because it's getting it from a byproduct of what it is about to become.
I think it's safe to say that you didn't learn all this stuff in school.
No. That's why I said you got to be a sponge. You have to be a sponge. Yeah. You have to be willing to read. You have to be willing to listen to people. And even though you listen to people, make sure you do your double research. Like, just because somebody's talking about something doesn't mean, like you said, that they know what they're talking about. And that's fine. Just, you can be open to new information. Just make sure you double check the resources.
Because I think about my health education class, which is just crap, because all you get is the food pyramid, and it gives you a basic breakdown, but
they don't tell you what macros are. They don't tell you what balancing what a balanced diet really entails, percentage wise of
how you in your 30s and you never heard of clean eating. Like, that's criminal.
But it's also a new thing for our generation too.
True.
This is, like you said, it's not something that was around when our grandparents were around, or even when my parents were around. Like, clean meal preps and stuff like that wasn't a thing. That's a new thing in our generations coming up. So, like, you know, people are realizing, hey, what we were eating and doing back then ain't working, because now we're older and we have all these issues with our health.
And to build on what you're saying, I think a conversation. So I follow the NBA a lot, and one of the people, obviously, who I look at is, you look at LeBron James, and you're talking about a guy that was blessed genetically at a young age, but still, just because you're blessed initially doesn't mean that that's just going to carry you through. And when you think about him being able to sustain I think this is his 18th season.
Yeah.
Like, we just, like me.
Well, part of that is recovery, because recovery is important too. He spends over $2 million in recovery alone a year. Yeah. A year. Like, we're talking about, like, we have people here that never even get massages or stretch their bodies, but they'll go to the gym 6 days a week and tear it down. And then it's like, that doesn't help your muscles recover or repair either. Because I tell people, muscle builds while it's recovering and repairing, not actually in the gym. While I'm getting that pump, my muscle looks bigger, but what makes my muscle stay bigger is the recovery process. What am I putting into my body to recover it so it rebuilds that nuclei of that muscle to be bigger? That's what, it's about understanding how to break those muscle fibers open, so that muscle is broken, and then it rebuilds itself. Bigger, stronger, better. But you can't do that if you don't eat your food, drink your water, and get some sleep for the recovery process.
That definitely sounded like a slogan.
I'm just saying, this is what it takes. This is literally what it is. This is the formula. If we were talking about algebra or math or basic math formulas, this is the math. It all adds together. 2 + 2 is always going to equal 4. So these things together are always going to equal success for results.
And that's why when you really look at the corruption behind food pricing and how eating clean, even though, like you said, your stuff is going to be more expensive, but you also know the quality is. It's
not as expensive as the clean food they're serving in Honey Grow. Right. You're going to pay $14 for some greasy noodles? I'm sorry. Like, they're good, but they're not clean, if you ask me. Nothing about me eating Honey Grow felt clean, even though their advertising portrayed to me as a clean restaurant. They have other products, but their noodles are the basis of their food.
Right. That's what it is.
It's what it's created around.
Right.
But your noodles aren't, to my knowledge, they're not like wheat or any kind of like special pasta or anything. Right. They're not like there's a product that's like, it's basically like a soy noodle and it's like next to nothing in calories. You guys aren't serving me that. I know that. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just even stuff like that that's just, like you said, portrayed as healthy. Right. It's upmarked, and then it's really not that healthy. Or if it is, or stuff like acai bowls. They want to charge $15 for an acai bowl. Which now makes me think about how even though gentrification is wrong, and it's wrong that so many of our black communities are food deserts, at the same time, we also have to, I think it's crazy, like if you really want to draw the link between people thinking that white or rich is better, and like you just pointed out, like you can be in Homewood and maybe not even have a supermarket or anything, so you live in a food desert, but don't think that just because I went to Honey Grove and East Liberty that now all of a sudden I'm good now, like look, and I just keep eating this stuff over and over again because somewhere along the line, it's crazy how that works when you, not trying to get too far away from it, but it's crazy like when you start thinking about like how we couple things, how we learn to associate things like if it's, I don't want to say white and better, but like rich or it's just whoever they're trying to portray to. And you know, when we're in our black communities, what do we have? We have fast food restaurants and all these cheaper options. And if we don't have a cheaper option, it's usually one of our black community business or black businesses in our community that will supplement us something that's still a little pricey, because you're still going to go to Showcase and pay $15 for some turkey ribs, which I'm going to do all day. First of all, I'm supporting my community. Second of all, it's definitely some good food that I'm not going to go home and make on my own. So that's different. I'm willing to pay. I'm willing to pay for something I'm not going to go home and make at a fraction of the cost. It's going to cost me almost as much as it costs them to make that plate. If not, maybe a little bit more, because I'm going to have to buy everything in bulk. Like, you know what I mean? But as far as like just like even no slight to Honey Grow, it's just like these restaurants, they're just oversaturating the idea that they're healthy, and they're not the picture perfect idea of health, in my opinion. Like I don't see anything about macros on your menu. You tell me the calories, but you don't tell me how much fat you're putting in my food. You don't tell me how many carbs are in this. You don't tell me how much protein you give me. Why do I have to get extra chicken to hope that I get enough protein in my food? Why do I have to do that at restaurants? It should be listed that this is what you're getting. Man, you got me thinking about it. It's listed on the back of my ingredients when I buy food in the supermarket. Why is it not listed somewhere in these menus at these clean restaurants? All right, not trying to get too far over a tangent, but I just thought about Noodle Head too, so it's just like... I love Noodle Head, and I love all these places. That's the crazy part. I love them, but I don't love them as a supplement for nutrition every day. It doesn't... It's not healthy. It's a healthier option than me going to a steakhouse or McDonald's, but it's not healthy. This analogy is going to be a little bit out there, but I kind of compare it to how when you go to the club, you already know that it's going to be kind of a loss. But you go there, but if you go there with lower expectations, knowing like, look, we're going to go in here, music's probably going to be like they probably going to be trying to cater to the wrong crowd and speeding up songs. And you've already ruined your experience. Wait in line, cover charge, all that kind of BS. But if you go in there knowing what it is, like you said with Honey Grow, you're not going there talking about, I really want to eat healthy tonight. No, you want to eat Honey Grow. Yeah. That's what you want to eat. You don't go into Capital Grille and say, hey, I really, really want a salad from here. Like, no, you're coming here for steak. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what it is. You know what it is, but sometimes it's misleading. Like I said, I click on that healthy tab when I'm ordering food sometimes, and I look at my options, and I'm like, these are just not, they're horrible. I'm subject to a salad or fruit if I want health. Yeah. That's highly unfair. It is unfair, and it makes me think about how like Sheets, like when you turn the nutrition on, it'll be like, oh no, you need to eat Schmart. That's definitely not happening at Sheets. Like I've seen the menu, and I pay attention to nutritional facts when it comes to me putting things in my body. So if it's not something I order directly from a restaurant, I'm always flipping over the back of something. I'm always looking at what's in something, whether it's seasoning, whether it's a drink, it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm buying it, I'm looking at the nutritional facts, and that's important too, is knowing what to look for and knowing what to look for as a red flag that you shouldn't touch it, you shouldn't have it. So I tell my clients all the time, yeah, you can have a salad, flip your dressing over, read to me what it says. They start reading it down. Next thing you know, I'm like, how many calories is in it? Oh, it's 150 calories for every tablespoon. And you're probably going to use about 3 tablespoons. So basically, you just told me you had 400 calories in just dressing. It has a bunch of saturated fat. It's high in sodium and it's high in calories, but you're having a healthy salad. This doesn't even include your toppings. It's like you're already killing yourself and shooting yourself in the foot before you get started.
Yeah.
And they're calling this health. So when people are like, oh, I love HelloFresh. I think that is the biggest crock of shit I've ever, excuse my language, ever seen get popped up, because I ate there one time and I was highly upset that I paid $11 for this giant salad. They saturated and drenched it in dressing and then threw whatever toppings I wanted, and they weren't even measuring my toppings out. We're talking about a handful of this, handful of that. Oh, you want a little? Sure, a mini handful, not even a sprinkle, like, you know. So it's just even stuff like that. Like, they portray it as it's so healthy. There's salad, there's this, there's that. You can make your own, and then what do? They throw about 500 extra calories on top of it.
Yeah, wow.
But it's fresh. And it's healthy, and it's called HelloFresh, so you could trust us, right?
Yeah, and we put some green shit on the front to make it feel better. Like, come on, Hello Bistro, all this stuff.
Hello Bistro, sorry, it's not HelloFresh. Excuse me, guys, it's not HelloFresh, it's Hello Bistro.
I thought HelloFresh was a real place for
No, HelloFresh is not a place. They're the box. They send you the raw food and you cook it yourself for meal prep, which I like. I like that idea. Okay. I do. But that's great for somebody who has time to cook, and a lot of clients, obviously, time.
Right.
Is a factor when we're cooking and we're talking about convenience. So that's something else you're going to pay for with meal prep. You're paying for the convenience. You're paying for the time you save ordering food, waiting for food, shopping, grocery shopping, waiting in line, driving to the store, fitting that all into your schedule, and then you still got to go home and cook it.
Yeah.
So that's where HelloFresh wins, because they eliminated everything except for the cooking and the cleaning part.
Right. So...
And the convenience of it, because they only give you a couple portions per recipe. It's not like it's full meal prep for the week.
Absolutely. Wow, this has been a really, really full discussion, and I appreciate everything that you've brought to the table, because, like, there are some interviews where I have to do a lot of asking and questioning.
Coaxing.
Yeah.
Pulling
all,
out.
All of that. It's like, come on, the water's fine. But then there's an interview like this, because this is just shit. No. And it's just kind of like...
I was riled up this morning because I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine that I just recently met. And we've been talking about me making him one of my clients. Like, he was like, you really know what you're talking about. And we went into the full depth of kind of like what we were talking about with nutrition and understanding what that is nowadays. And he was just like, wow. He was just like, this is really your thing. And it made me realize how swept up in my passion I was about this. And I was like, you know, anytime I'm really doubting because I'm having issues moving into a kitchen and getting a bigger space right now, so it's like I've been having all these doubts of like, is this really like my calling? Is this really my thing? And then I have a conversation with you or like with him, and I just get swept away in the fact that I have all this information and I just want to let it out. I want to let people know it's okay to love your food. It's okay to have a healthier relationship with food. You don't have to be afraid of carbs. You don't have to be afraid of food. You don't have to be afraid of these things. You just need to understand that less is more, and you need to understand what your nutritional needs are and understand that that's going to drive the desired results that you're looking for.
Well, I'm glad that you are able to get swept up. I'm glad that you're passionate, and I feel like my personal opinion is that I believe that everyone, I know the term is going to sound really derogatory, but I believe everyone is a snob about something. And if you just meet someone that, because to me, like, maybe you don't care about wine, or maybe you don't care about certain other things, but when it comes to clean eating, or it comes to bodybuilding, or whatever the passion may be, then that's where you turn on. I feel like we all have that. And if you don't, then it's almost like, what's wrong with you? Because we all care. Like I probably care about Michael Jackson's music more than most other artists and stuff. And it's just like, because that's like my thing. Like that's my thing, just like this is yours. So I appreciate the passion. It's just much appreciated. I appreciate you being able to come here. I appreciate you being flexible as well, because I understand that initially you expressed to me like, you know, now's not a good time. You know, there's some things that are going on behind the scenes that I have to work through first. Yeah. And I totally respect that, but I still... Yeah,
I had to be really transparent. I was like, I'm not in the mental space to deliver what I want to deliver when we're talking about something like this.